What's up, world? This is episode 1 of the I Hate Tipping podcast. I'm your host, Collin Key, and I hate tipping. I really hate tipping, and I'm going to get into that, I promise. But right now, just want to welcome everybody. I decided to make a podcast because I listened to about 100 of them, and I figured there's got to be room for one more. I got a lot of shit to say about a lot of things. I appreciate y'all coming here with me today. Let's see. So today, basically, I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff, different shit and different things, and express my views. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right. First of all, I wrote a book. It's called These Ones Are Mine. I just published it. It's for sale in the world. What a thing is that for me to say. It's on Amazon and it's on Kindle, and what it is a bunch of crazy ass true stories and a little bit about myself, but not much, just mostly just a compilation of true stories. They're all wild and crazy and all true. I'm very proud of it. It took 2 long ass years of work and dedication and editing and reading it until it was painful. But then when I got that first copy in the mail, I tell you what, oh, what a feeling. If you go on YouTube right now and just look up, like just type in the search block, my first book or proof copy, create space, anything like that. Like I wrote a book, and watch these people whenever they unbox their first copy of the first book that they ever written, and a lot of them cry. It's very emotional. It's a very big deal. But there's also 7 million people with books out there. Most of them are about vampires and mermaids and werewolves and love stories and shit that I'm not interested in. But I don't know. Mine is nonfiction. Some examples of some of the things that you can hear on there are like the time when I almost crashed a plane. Well, the 2 times when I almost crashed airplanes. There was a time I crashed my motorcycle, my crotch rocket, and I almost got my head run over by a car that was coming towards me. There was a time when I may or may not have knocked up a $10 crackhead prostitute. Shit like that. Crazy shit. Just lots and lots. I think there's over 200 stories in there, and that is the cut down version. That book was over 700 pages when the first draft of it. And I just realized I had to cut it way down. So a whole lot of shit didn't make it in there. I could definitely make a second book if I wanted to. We'll see if this one ever picks up any steam. But you should definitely check it out. Anyway, enough about that. So speaking of true stories. Oh, by the way, forgive me. This is my first ever time attempting anything like this, so it's going to be a learning curve as far as playing with these audio mixes and sound effects and intros and outros and seeing how far away from the microphone I need to sit and all that stuff. What I'm going to try to do for this first episode is make it around 30 minutes to see how it feels. But I tell you what, people, I can talk. Anybody who knows me will tell you that. They'll say, yeah, that dude, make them shut up sometimes. So, so I'm imagining going forward, the episodes will get longer and longer, especially since I have a huge list of things that I really want to get into, like more serious topics of shit that bugs me about the world. This first episode, I got a handful of topics on some, what do they call these things again? Index cards. We'll see how I can get through these. Get a feel for this whole podcast recording thing, and then we'll go from there. All right, so anyway, true story. Speaking of true stories, I just moved into a new apartment about a month ago. This was the second apartment that I applied for. The first apartment that I applied for, I was denied, and it was a complete shock to me because whenever I got that phone call from the leasing agency, she said, "Oh yeah, by the way, just wanted to let you know you've been denied." And I said, "Well, why?" Because I had checked my credit and it was fine, or I had an idea of what my credit was, I should say, because I had already applied for and got approved for a mortgage. So I was just thinking, like, what the hell? I know my credit's decent. It's not great, but it's decent, and it should be enough for this shithole. And she said no. And so, did you want to have a cosigner? And I said, well, tell me what the deal is, so at least moving forward I can fix it. And she says, we don't really have to tell you anything, and I don't know anyway. And that's a strange thing. And I get in the place that I'm in now, the landlord from this place told me the exact same thing. They don't have to tell you why they denied you. And I'm thinking that's got to be wrong. There has to be some sort of a law about that. And even if not, why wouldn't you tell me so that I can fix my situation? So I'm just going to keep going from place to place to place and get denied over and over again and have no idea even why. Anyway, so that first whore just said, no, fuck you, get out of here. And I said, okay, well, can I have my money back? And she said, yeah, I'll refund it to you. It'll be back on your card. You'll see it pop up soon. I said, okay, cool. Still pissed because she wouldn't tell me why, but whatever. They made me put down my first month and pay the application fee. So we're talking about $600 basically in an application fee or whatever. And they held that money for 3 weeks, by the way. They said, no, you can't have this place. And they held my money for 3 weeks. And I was in the middle of looking for a place, which means I need to move. And I'm not wealthy, so I needed that fucking money. And whenever I called them back at the end of week 1 and the end of week 2, like, where's my money? I got 2 different stories from 2 different women. One of them told me, it takes a couple of days. You should see it in there in a couple of days. And we have no idea. We just put it back on your card, and then it goes through the processing center. I said, fine. The second lady told me, it could take a week or 2. Now, I know for a fact that I've had refunds at Walmart, and they went back on my card immediately. Why the fuck would it take a week or 2 for it to just reappear on my card? That is insane to me. Number one. Number two, I don't know how you're living, but $600 is a lot of money to me. And like I said, I was in the middle of trying to move and find a place. So that was a lot of stress right there. I needed my money. They didn't want to come up off it. It took a lot of phone calls to get it back. And that's the kind of shit that'll make somebody flip out. Anyway, besides all that. So I went and applied for a second place. I went and walked the place I'm in now. I met the landlord. I walked the place. I said, this is fine. It looks good. The price is right, whatever. I filled out the papers. The guy said, during our meeting, I said, first of all, before we go any further, I want to know what credit score you're looking for, because I got denied at my last place and I'm thinking it can't be about my credit. I had my credit report printed up and I showed him. I said, bang, here you go. This is my credit score, just so you know ahead of time. He said, oh, no, that's excellent. He said, that's no problem. I said, great. I'm getting to it. This is a crazy story. So I went forward with him, filled out the papers, got a call back from him. I think that was like on a Friday. I got a call from him on a Monday. And he says, yeah, Collin, how you doing? I said, I'm good. How are you? And he said, good. And he said, well, I got your credit score and all that back in your criminal history and all that. And he said, you didn't tell me you got arrest warrants for you in Ohio and that you have robbery and breaking and entering and all this. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he said, yeah, no, yeah. You apparently got misdemeanor theft, assault, breaking and entering, robbery. And I said, no, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. And he says, well, that's what I got. And then he says to me, it's okay. There are ways to get this kind of stuff taken care of. And, I already made up my mind about you that I like you and I was going to rent you the place anyway. And I said, listen, I appreciate it, but not only is this not me, I have no idea. You must not have my correct social or something. And I said, I can't have this kind of shit on my record. I'm a truck driver. I have a hazardous materials license. I'm a student pilot. I own weapons, guns. I have a concealed permit carry permit. A whole bunch of different reasons. My job, we deliver. I'm a truck driver. We deliver expensive shit at night. We go into buildings. We have keys to like Porsche dealerships and shit like that. And I cannot have this kind of shit on my record. Period. Can't have it. It's not me. I tried to explain this to this man, and he was a very nice dude. He said, you can have the place if you want it, and blah blah blah. And he said, you can go and meet my guy who did the report, and then then you can go through your steps to get your situation taken care of. And I said, I appreciate it, dude. Thank you. Yes, I want the apartment. I'm moving. Here's your money, whatever you need. But I want you to know that this is not me. I don't know what's going on, but this is bullshit. And he's like, So I could tell he didn't believe me. Fair enough. So anyway, I went and met this company representative of whoever did my background check, and he pulls out the paperwork and he says, yep, sure enough, here's your name, here's your social, here's your date of birth, here's your address, former address. And right here it says theft in Ohio, some city I've never been to, never heard of, don't know anything about. Robbery, whatever. Convictions for driving, that whole bunch of shit. And I said, dude, I don't know what this is. And he's looking at me like, okay, fine. So my anxiety level at that right there sitting, I signed a lease, whatever, but I just had this ball of fire inside of me, just a sinking feeling in my gut of how wrong this situation was and was about to, like, what could happen because of this horse shit that ain't mine, that's on showing up on my record. So I asked the guy, I said, what do I got to do to take care of this? And he says, well, I mean, you need to go and call the courthouse of this place in Ohio and start there. He said, I don't know. I've never been through that, but he said, I know that this shit will follow you around. And I said, yeah, I need to get it done now. So anyway, fast forward, I call this township in Ohio, the courthouse, and I get this lady on the phone, the court, whatever, secretary or whatever, and she's like, yeah, what's your name, what's your social? I give it to her. She says, yeah, no, you got warrants here. It's a statewide warrant, blah, 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 blah. And I'm explaining to her, I'm like, yeah, this is a mistake. I don't live there. And she says, no, yeah, we know where you live. You live here. And I said, yeah. And she says, well, no, yeah, this is you. And I said, no, it's not. I said, I've never even been to your town, bumfuck Ohio, whatever it's called. And she says, no, you did it. It's you. Obviously not believing me at all. I said, no, it's not me. And I had a conversation with this woman for, I don't know, half an hour. And in the end, she's just like, you need to come and turn yourself in. She says, you can come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, fuck you. There's no way I'm driving all the way to Ohio to turn myself in for some horse shit that I did not do and blah, blah, blah. And so hung up with her, totally to no situation completely unresolved. I ended up calling her back 6 or 7 times and having probably an hour and a half of solid conversation with her, where in the end, she ended up giving me the name of the detective that was on my case. I called him, left him several voicemails on several days. He never answered, and it turned out he was on vacation or something. Called that woman at the court back, got her again, and finally she says, look, all right, call this other detective and tell him that I sent you. I said, fine. She said, he's not the one on the case, but you can talk to him and at least maybe he can give you some answers. So that's what I did. I called him. He didn't answer. Left him a long ass voicemail. He called me back eventually and he started screaming at me, saying he just immediately just was talking to me like I was a criminal, and I guess he gets that kind of shit all the time. People saying that they're innocent and blah blah blah, and then I I realized what was happening, and I calmed it way down and started talking to the dude in a way that I knew he wanted me to talk to him. I was just like, yes, sir. No, sir. Listen, I'm telling you, I stayed calm no matter how. And he didn't let up for a while. He was very aggressive and just basically telling me that he knew I was guilty. And it took me and him spoke for over an hour. And finally, at the end of it, he says, wait, where do you work? And I said, I work for such and such trucking. He says, so you never worked for such and such blah, blah. Or no, he didn't give me the name. He says, that's the only place you worked. And I said, in the last 3 years, 4 years going on, yes. And he says, you didn't have a part-time job doing anything else? I said, no, and definitely not in Ohio. And he says, well, this can go away if you can prove that you didn't work for this other place. But I can't give you any. It wasn't his case, so he couldn't give me the information on it. But he just says that if it's true that you only worked for that place, then you should be okay. All right, this story is going way too long. Anyway, long story short, I ended up eventually talking to the original detective on the case. This shit took 3 weeks to wrap up, but I don't know how it happened, but some asshole with the same name as me, or who just had it had to be identity theft. That's what I'm saying. I'm guessing he didn't have the same name as me, but he used my name and my social and birth date and all that in Ohio, working for a cleaning company, and stole a bunch of shit. And I don't know, did whatever else. And then I don't know if he was ever arrested or what, but the people at the store said, yes, it was his name, my name. And I guess they had my picture on file from other shit back in the day in my home state, PA. And they showed them all my picture. They said, yes, that's him. And I had so much anxiety. Like the original detective on the case did not believe me at all. It took so much for me to finally prove my innocence, that I have never been to that place in Ohio, and that it was not me that they were looking for. I had so much anxiety that I was literally shaking. My hands were shaking like I'm normally a very calm dude. This broke me at the same time as I was moving, and I was hurt. I hurt my back lifting stuff, and I had so much piled on my ass at that time that this was the most stress that I've ever felt in my life. Finally got it taken care of by proving that I was working for another company and at work at that time whenever it happened, and whenever that bullshit in Ohio happened. And the point of the story is that your identity, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. The first cold that I've had in years, just so happens to be right now. But on episode 1 of my podcast, so my voice should be getting better, is what I'm getting at. But anyway, your identity can be stolen, and you can end up in jail over it, like just like that. And had I not been able to clear this shit up, I'm telling you, my guns would have been seized, I'm sure, because you can't have this kind of shit that this guy has with guns. They don't, at least not in PA. They don't let you do that. They don't let you have a hazmat license, because they do a full, which is hazardous materials, if you don't know. Like, makes me able to drive a truck with whatever, gasoline or acid or explosives or whatever. They don't let you have that if you have a criminal record. They don't let you have a pilot's license if you have a criminal record. I have a learner's permit pilot license, but they don't even let you have that, or your medical. My concealed carry permit, or my job, like I said, because we deliver to different expensive, high dollar places who they definitely don't let people with criminal records like that go into their places at night with their own sets of keys. They just don't. So anyway, I finally got that taken care of. And that's a pretty crazy story if you ask me. And that just happened, and it's true. And that's what I'm saying. This book that I wrote my whole life has been crazy ass stories. Way crazier than that, but this is just a recent one. So anyway, moving on. All right, the second thing I want to talk about. Okay. Gaming. All right. So I just moved into my new apartment, like I said. And at my last place, I had an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. And in my new place, I bought a new Xbox One S. I got the S model, which is the terabyte hard drive. And I bought it. I would not have bought it, but I bought it because at my last place, I had bed bugs, and bed bugs get into your electronics. And I was super terrified about bringing bed bugs into my new place. That bed bug story is another crazy story, but I'm going to save that for another episode because it's kind of long. But anyway, so I bought an Xbox, a fresh Xbox, and I'm going to eventually get a new fresh PlayStation because I guess the Pro, or if I don't get money in time, I'll just wait for the new, whatever the new one is. I know there's another one coming out next year. And but anyway, I bought the new Xbox that I got, the S. I got the white one. And I got some opinions about it. Firstly, I do like the way that it looks. I do like that it's smaller. I love the fact that they added 4K HDR. Holy shit, is that a thing? Love it, love it, love it. But I got a problem with this thing, and here's what my problem is. And this just happened yesterday. I moved in. I got my new Xbox. I plugged it in, set it up. I put in Resident Evil, the new one, 7, and I went to play it. And I said, oh, shit, I need my game data from the old Xbox. So I looked up videos on YouTube on how to do that, and how to bring your game data from one machine to the other one. And went over to my old place, plugged into the old Xbox, and it just didn't work. And then I realized, oh, okay, there's a lot of data that associated with these games. I only had a few games that I gave a shit about bringing over to the new machine. But even though each one of those has like between 20 and 90 gigabytes of information that that goes along with it. So you got to have you got to have an external hard drive to bring all the information from one game to the next machine. So I took my external. I have an SSD little portable drive that I use for backup and shit, and I took it over to my old place, formatted it on the Xbox. It's a terabyte capacity. I brought in all the information from my old one for the 4 or 5 games, or however many games that I wanted. I think it was Halo 5, Resident Evil 7, Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Gears of War 4. Those are the 5 games that I gave a shit about. I had other ones like Tomb Raiders. I didn't give a fuck about that. And Borderlands. And I had all the old Gears of War games, but that's just dead weight space on my hard drive. So I just skipped those. So anyway, I copied the information from the ones that I wanted onto my hard drive, brought it over to my new place, plugged it in, and it just did not work. It just did. When I plugged it in, the thing read as it showed that I had the hard drive there. It showed that it had information on it, but it did not show up as game information. And I said, I don't know how to fix this. And I got totally frustrated. And what I ended up doing was reformatting my hard drive again on the new one, which I forgot erases everything. So then all the 3 hours of waiting might have even been longer than that, of waiting to copy all the new shit on the hard drive, just gone. And that pissed me all the way off. The point of this story is that Xbox, while they listen to the community and they're doing good things, and I appreciate them, I kind of leaned towards my new Xbox, even though I'm normally a PlayStation person, but Xbox One really I gravitated over to it. It just, I don't know, it just kind of sucked me in. But this deal, plain and simple, you should be able to take your old Xbox and your new Xbox and plug them together. You should be able to take whatever kind of cord, Ethernet cord, USB cord, whatever, a fucking coax cable, something. You should be able to just plug it from one to the next and just suck in your information. Done. It should be that simple. If you look it up anywhere online like I did, they all say that you have to basically buy an external hard drive to do that. That is retarded and dumb, and it's just it's totally unnecessary, and that is a huge deal for me. So I just happen to have an external hard drive, but I had to format it, which means I had to erase everything that I had on there to do it, which I did anyway, whatever. Then it didn't work, and it was a huge pain in the ass, and I just said, fuck it in the end. I'm not even going to bring my new game data over. Fuck it. I'm just going to start over from scratch on Battlefield. I'm not even playing the campaign again. I already beat it. It's short, whatever. I'm just going to get online and get the new maps and just start all over. I don't care. And Resident Evil is, now that I know where I'm at, the puzzles and all that, it shouldn't take too much to do. So I'm just going to, those two games I'm going to go forward with. Fuck the rest of them. I'm going to buy new games and, moving forward. But I shouldn't have had to use format or buy a new hard drive just to get my game data. Like, they know the people are going to do that. Make it that simple. Make them. They should even be able to do it by Wi-Fi. You should be able to have. It might take a week, but so what? I should be able to put both of them in the same room and just turn them on, and it should just bloop. Do you want to move your game data? Yes, done. And you should be able to click it, and that should be it. That is what it should be. Period. The fact that they're telling me that I have to buy another hard drive is so infuriating. Moving on. Once again, I apologize about my voice. That's another story that's in my book. I haven't been sick like normal human beings in years because I started taking colostrum. And colostrum is like a super medicine. My kidney, he calls it super medicine because it keeps you from getting sick. But I just happened to stop taking it, and then we get all this freak ass weather that just goes from hot to cold, and I thought that the spring was here like a couple weeks ago and forgot I'd stopped taking the colostrum. And then I walked in the Sheetz gas station last week, and this dude walks up to the counter, and his nose is just, he's got wads of toilet paper shoved in his nose, and he's like crying, and his face is red, and he's ugh. And I said, "What, dude, are you sick or what?" He's like, I guess I don't know what's going on. I walked out of that damn gas station, and by the time I drove from there to my house, I was sick, just like that. I slipped for the little bit, the tiniest little bit. I slipped with my colostrum, didn't take it, and bam, I get sick, and I've been sick for like a week now. Anyway, back to Xbox. So yeah, if you haven't played Resident Evil 7, you should play Resident Evil 7. It is crazy as hell. Like, just the beginning of it, when you're walking around that mansion and that dude is talking to you, it is creepy as hell. And I'm not one to jump much, but I definitely a couple times I had a little bit of a jump in my seat. It'll definitely get to you. I'm only, I think, about halfway through it, but it's entertaining as all hell. Battlefield 1. If you skip that, I'm telling you, you're an asshole. If you like shooters at all, first-person shooters, Battlefield is the best looking and the best playing and just the best fucking shooter that I've ever played, and I've played most of them. It's if you go on YouTube, if you haven't played it, and just type Battlefield 1 No Hud HUD, and watch a video in high resolution, and just see how the detail in these maps and how gorgeous everything is. And just listen to the things that the soldiers are saying, and they really put their ass into this game, and I do not get enough of it. It is so good. The only complaint that I have with Battlefield 1 is that I wish that the campaign was like twice as long, because the campaign was brilliant. It was beautiful. It was perfect, but it was just too short. I'm a campaign dude more than an online dude because there's too many kids online and they're assholes. But even with that said, I've put in many hours on this this campaign. What the fuck? Oh, the music kicked back in. All right, I'm gonna edit this the fuck out. All right, I had a little edit issue there. So much for the 30-minute mark. I told you people I can talk. So yeah, my outro music kicked in automatically on Audacity here at 30-minute mark. So I had to edit that out. Anyway, so what I was saying, Battlefield 1 is the shit. That game is unreal, and they just added new maps, and they added Verdun. I don't know if you know anything about Verdun from war history, but it was like one of the most insane real life battlefields in the history of warfare. And you can look up pictures of that online of what it looks like today. It looks like the inside of an egg carton, like giant divots in the ground. It was from so much mortar shell fire, artillery fire, that it actually just made it textured the ground like bubble wrap. You have to look at it. It's insane. But yeah, they just added that map on Battlefield 1. I haven't been able to play it because I don't have internet in my new place yet. But hopefully in the next week or two, I'll get that. And I will be back in there. As far as new games that came out, I was really looking forward to Wildlands, Ghost Recon. But I don't know. I watch reviews and they're pretty iffy. A lot of just kind of meh. And like even the video footage of it doesn't look that interesting. Kind of like what the hell was that? That one where you can just blow shit up all the time. It's a different kind of a game, but it's that kind of a feeling that I got. Just Cause 19, whatever the most recent one was. I was so excited for that damn game, and then I got it, and then it just was like, oh, this is a gimmick. Like, yeah, unlimited C4, blow everything up, keep blowing shit up, blow more shit up. Here, blow this up. You didn't blow up that helicopter. Here, blow up, tie together 4 helicopters and blow them up. Like after 15 minutes, it gets really old, and even my kid and my nieces and nephews that got bored with it quick. That is the feeling that I get when I look at Ghost Recon Wildlands. It just looks like after 15 minutes, I would like, and move on. I could be wrong. If anybody has opinions, I'd love to hear them. Shoot me an email. Damn, I've just realized I didn't set up an email for the show. You can email me at getsomepublishing@gmail.com. Getsomepublishing, one word, @gmail.com. That is the one associated with my book, These Ones Are Mine, which is available now again on Amazon and Kindle. And you're going to love it, I promise. It's a book that you can just flip to, just grab it, pick it up, flip it to any page and start reading wherever your eyes land. And I guarantee you're going to get sucked in. And it's all true stories. Anyway, so the other game that I was looking forward to was Horizon Zero Dawn, I think it's called. That dinosaur, what is it, robot dinosaurs? I'm still thinking about getting that, but that's a PlayStation title. So I got to wait till I can get a new PlayStation because I'm not bringing bed bugs over here. And again, on this bed bug thing, if you didn't know about bed bugs, they get in electronics. The way that I knew that I had bed bugs was I picked up my cell phone. I was in the bathroom. I listened to music while I'm brushing my teeth and shit. I picked up my cell phone and I just happened to look at the speaker at the bottom of it, and there was a fucking bed bug just basically formed. It was just in the little cutout for the speaker, just in there, like it was trying to make it get warm or something. I don't know. It was just in there, and I'm telling you, I have real life PTSD because of those fucking things. But anyway, I'm afraid that those bed bugs might be in my old PS4. That's why I didn't bring it here. And how about some vocal fry for you? All right. All right. So that's that index card. Next up. All right. How about this? Fucking street people. Oh, ooh. When I say street people, I mean bums. But I don't mean that in a hateful way. I mean that like whatever the proper term is for it. People, homeless people or not even homeless people, just people who are just out begging. Hold on, let me get a drink of water here because my voice is really going out. Ooh, all right, that's better. Okay, so just people who are out approaching other people for the money all the time. What is the real actual term for that? Beggars, vagrants. Uh, I don't know. Whatever you call them. Do you give? And if you do, how often do you give? Do you give all the time? Is it like a rule for you? Is it like tipping, something that you do? Oh, fucking tipping. I got a lot to say about tipping, but we're gonna get to that. It's the name of the show. I hate tipping, so I'm gonna let that one marinate for a while. I'm gonna hit that one heavy. It's not gonna be this episode, but we're gonna nail that one. Yeah, because I hate it for reasons that you definitely probably ain't thinking about right now when you think about tipping. You probably think I'm cheap, or it's because I'm black. Oh yeah, I'm black, by the way. You probably can't tell by the intro music or my voice or whatever, but I'm black, African American, nigga in the world, whatever. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so street people. Couple thoughts on that. I hate the creative sales pitches. I fucking hate it. Like, you can always tell when one of them are coming up to you. Like, you can just tell that they're coming to ask you for money. And if they just come right out and ask, hey, can I have $1? Then, you know, and I'll be way more likely to hand over $1 or maybe even more than if you come over, hey, man, you don't remember me, man? It's Jimbo from JoJo's crib, man. You don't really, you just forgot about a nigga, man, right? Oh, this is crazy. Really, me and you and Juju B and the rest of them, man, we used to hang around. You ain't Ralphie and them's people, man. This dude literally came up to me the other day and spoke to me for 5 minutes, trying to convince me that I knew him. And I'm just looking at him in his eyes and can just tell that everything he's saying is bullshit. He doesn't believe he knows me. He knows that we don't know each other. I know that we don't know each other. He's throwing out different places that I'm supposed to have known him from. I'm like, nah. And I'm just waiting the whole time for him to just ask me for some money. And at the end of his spiel, he goes, well, listen, fam, I just need, and I said, I ain't got nothing, man. I just cut him off. I said, I ain't got nothing. And I wanted to say, like, and I really wish you hadn't wasted my time with this shit. Like, leave me the fuck alone. But I didn't. I just looked at it. He said, I just need 60 cents, partner. I said, I ain't got nothing for you. And the dude looked at me and he just stopped for a second and he just stared at me and he said, all right, man, I believe you. And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't give a fuck if you believe me or not. Fuck you for wasting 5 minutes of my life. I swear. I mean, I really didn't have any cash on me at the time, but I swear, if you're going to do that, don't try to trick me into giving you money like that. I don't like that in life, period. Like, I can appreciate a good salesman, but I don't like pressure. I don't like the pressure, like you're going to get the sale no matter what. That's basically what that dude was doing. Like, he's trying to trick me into giving him money, and I'm smarter than that, and I'm insulted that he thinks that it would work. But anyway, there was this other dude who approached me. So that was like last week when I went to pick my mother up from work, because she works in the fucking hood, right in the middle of the extra capital letter H hood, capital all caps, HOOD, hood, the fucking trap. She works in the middle of the fucking ghetto at a fucking homeless shelter, nonetheless, a battered women's homeless shelter. So there's always beggars out there. And I mean, the same one will come in and, excuse me, sir. Oh, I just need $1. I'm like, you asked me for $1 every day this week, bitch. Walk away. Like, I had to get, like, that's another thing. They make you become an asshole to them. Like, you can't even nicely say no. It's like, anyway. So this happens to me all the time. But this other dude came up to me when I was in my work truck at about 3:00 in the morning, delivering to a Porsche dealership. And he just walks up to me, and he's an older dude, maybe like, I don't know, 50, 60. Well, I'd say late 50s. Got a book bag on, and he just looks like a professional grifter or whatever. I don't know what a grifter is. Like a professional ask you for money ass dude, which is exactly what he was. And I had my headphones on. I'm working. I'm trying to get done. He comes up, hey, man, can I give you a hand? You need a hand? I'm like, no, I don't need a hand. Why don't you just go ahead and ask me for the money? That's what I was thinking. I said, no, I don't need a hand. But I know he was about to ask me for money. But he said, you sure I can't give you a hand, man? Because look, this happened and blah, 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 and all the rest of it. And I'm like, and then I think I did just say, I just cut him off because I was listening to a podcast, I believe, or some music or something. I don't know. And I'm standing there holding one of my headphones, just looking at him like, can you get to the fucking point? And I cut him off. I said, look, dude, what's up? It's just, man, I just need a couple bucks, blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right. My fucking mistake that I made right then. I reached in my pocket and pulled out what I had, which was $5 and $1 bills. I peeled off 3 of them, handed them to the dude. He said, thank you. I started to put my headphone back in my ear, my earbud back in my ear. And I hear the dude, and I took it back out and I looked at him like, yes. And he says, man, I appreciate the 3, but I mean, if you could just give me 2 more, then I was just like, nah, man, you're trying to take my last dollar. And that's when I got fucking mad and I kind of went off on him a little bit. Like, you're trying to get my last, man. I'm like, I'm out here working. He said, well, I'll be glad to help you out. I said, no, you can't have my last $2. That's what I'm saying. Like, they get aggressive. Like when I went to Mexico. And I mean, well, that's a whole different thing. You feel bad. You're at the resort and you got a couple Mexican dudes with a rake raking the beach all night long to keep it pristine, and they're working on the pool, and I mean they're doing it. But then they set up their little stands so that you can't walk from your room to one of the restaurants in all inclusive without passing their whole fucking mini mall out there, little fucking wooden doodads and whatever kind of other beads and dream catchers or whatever horse shit they're selling. You can't go past them you can't go eat without being harassed, basically. And that's a different situation because you feel bad for them. Like that they're dressed nice when they're in there, but they're going to go outside the walls of the fucking resort and go back to their fucking mud hut or where the fuck they're living in over there. And so I know Mexico is tragic in a lot of ways. So you'd feel bad. You're like, yeah, you should buy some shit, but still, I don't give a fuck. Let me do that myself. I don't want to be pressured. Don't make me feel like that if I don't want to give you something. So that nigga who came up to me, fuck him. I appreciate the 3, but if you can just give me 2 more, that'd be great. Fuck you. Anyway, don't trip into the middle of the street and get hit by the bus. Sorry. Anyway. So yeah, and then, I mean, on that same topic, I'm not ready to move on yet. Everybody knows what the red box is, and everybody knows what bootleg movies are. Well, I don't buy bootleg movies anymore because I'm actually a movie fan, and I believe in, them getting, whoever made the movie should get paid for making the movie. I used to download torrent from torrent websites and all that shit, and I used to buy bootlegs, but I grew up or whatever. I don't know. I just don't do it anymore. But I do go and try to rent my movies legit in the red box. And now we got this dude who I haven't seen him in a while, but he would post up right next to the red box with his box of bootleg movies and just stand there. And he would not let you go rent a movie with that. What movie you getting, bruh? I don't even know. I'm just browsing. I got everything in there. You check this out. Oh, crystal clear. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. And then they don't want to hear it. It's like they're either going to convince you to buy from them or make you feel like a piece of shit for not buying from them. And I'm just like, man, I wish I had a taser sometimes. Anyway, so fuck that dude too. What else I want to talk about? Blah, blah, blah. As far as like beggars and shit. Here's one. I went to Kmart one time and 2 young white dudes, healthy, regular, like, I don't know, like 18, 19, maybe 20-year-old white dudes just walked up to me with a white bucket. They both, I think it was just two of them for one white bucket, matter of fact. And it was a piece of paper taped to the bucket that they had written, "Help muscular dystrophy," with just like a Sharpie or something. It wasn't like an official give us money bucket. It wasn't. It was just, anyway. So these dudes walk up to me, and I had to stop. I was about to just keep walking, but I saw the little fucking fake ass sign and bucket, and I just started laughing. And I said, "Okay, listen." And I reached in my pocket. I think I pulled out a $10 bill, maybe a $5, and I said, "You can have this right now for your cause, if you can just tell me what muscular dystrophy is." And I mean, you ain't seen two motherfuckers go blank faster than that ever in your life. I mean, they had no. Oh man! Oh, and they're looking at each other, and the one dude just smiled and walked away, and the other one stood there and he said, "Man, I mean, I know. I mean, it's got to. It has to do with your muscles." He said, "I know that it has something to do with muscles," and I just lost it and just walked away. I said, "Nice try, man." He just smiled. He knew he was full of shit, and I caught him, and he didn't even try to argue. He just walked away. It was a good little fake hustle. Probably just trying to get some weed money or meth money or something. But whatever. Anything else on that subject? There was a stripper, not a stripper, prostitute, and I talked about this in the book too. I was on one of my deliveries, which was in an alley, and I parked my work truck and I went and opened it up, and that was no. I parked my work truck and was doing my logbook, and I looked up, and I mean, a terrible looking prostitute was outside my door, just standing there smiling at me. Now, I say that she was terrible looking because, like, I mean, I've done, whatever. I've done my thing in the day, and I wasn't gonna do nothing with her. I was broke anyway, and I was at work anyway. But she was, I got some standards, and she didn't even register on my my graph paper. There's no way if she was paying me that I would have hit that. So I didn't even open my door for this broad. How did it go down? I cracked my window and I said, "Yeah." She said, "Open the door." And I said, "Nah, what's up?" She says, "You ain't gonna open the door?" So I cracked the door and she smiles. She says, "What's up?" And I said, "Nah, I'm good." And then I just said, "I'm good." And it just shut her whole shit down. So she stood there for a second quiet and just kind of raised an eyebrow and looked at me. And I raised an eyebrow and looked back at her. And we just kind of had like a little standoff for a second. And then she says, "Well, get it down there." And I said, "What?" "Get it down there." I really didn't understand what the fuck she said. And I said, "What?" "Well, give me $1 then so I could do that." And I said, "You want $1?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "For what?" And she said, "So I can get a pop." I said, "Oh, you want $1 for a pop?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "All right." So I reached my hand in my pocket and I pulled out $1 and I went to hand it to her. And when I did, this bitch she ran her hand down from like the inside of my elbow, down my forearm and down into my palm and like caressed me and then like grabbed my fingers and like, and like stroked my fingers. And she took the $1 out of my hand and she smiled. She said, "See, I don't give up that easy." And she walked away, I guess feeling victorious or something. I'm telling you, I doused my entire arm in my whole bottle of hand sanitizer that I had in my book bag. More water here. Hold on. If I could have, I would have went and boiled my arm in all the places that she touched me. I was offended and skeeved out. Moving on. All right. Damn, we're at 51 minutes already. Shit. All right. A couple more topics here. If you like a fish sandwich with onions on it, you're an asshole. I just wanted to say that. Fish tacos. I tried one for the first time recently. What the fuck was that? You're an asshole if you like fish tacos too. Coleslaw on fish in a tortilla. Like, that's three different food genres, I'm pretty sure, that don't go together. And there was like fucking chopped onions. It was gross. Once again, onions with fish. If you like onions with fish, you are a piece of shit. Kill yourself. No, I don't. Sorry, but that might be harsh. But I don't know. Some people's fucking taste and fish tacos should be illegal. Fish sandwiches with especially red onions on fish. Hell no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Pickles on fish is a stretch, but they do that at, I think, Burger King and shit. I got used to it. But onions? Fuck you. Let's see. Do I want to get into this? Okay, real quick. What the fuck happened to Cinnabon? I had a card with that written on it. An index card. Hold on. All right, I don't know. Anyway, I got a Cinnabon for the first time since like high school the other night when I was at work. I don't know what happened, but Cinnabon used to be like that smell that you couldn't even resist. Like, I would smell it in the mall, like halfway through the mall, and just have to beg my mom for one. Like, a Cinnabon was like the ultimate food luxury, like junk food luxury. It would just make you orgasm. It would just be so good. Anyway, I got this one the other night, and I bought it, and I was excited to have it to go with my coffee. And I opened the box and I took a bite of it, and it tasted like fucking placenta. Like, I take that back. It didn't have a taste. It had no flavor at all. It was just like chewing on like an umbilical cord. Like, if somebody boiled like that sack that a baby's born in, like when it comes out, like a baby cow, when it comes out, it comes in that bag of skin. I think that's the placenta, yeah? Or the afterbirth, whatever the fuck you call that. That is what I imagine that this thing, the consistency and the flavor of. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with. And I looked on the box and it said, make sure that you heat this for delicious. And I was like, okay, fine. So I just took a couple bites of it. It was like, this is gross. But it's basically a cinnamon roll with some fucking icing on it, yeah? I figure you should be able to eat that cold. Whatever. I took the rest of it back to my job, microwaved it like it was supposed to be, ate it, or I started eating it. And I'm telling you, like, it tasted like baby shit. And I don't know if what the fuck was going on. It had no smell. The flavor was like almost like a negative flavor. I don't even know how to describe it, but the consistency was like that of placenta. Anyway, it was gross. It's right here. It's right in front of me. Yeah, and I paid $3 for that bullshit, and I was pretty disappointed and upset. Every episode, I'm going to try to get a hygiene tip, and I'm going to get a music drop to go with that part. If I can find one, I'll insert it here. Every episode, I want to throw in a few different things every time. One of them is going to definitely be a hygiene tip. So here's the hygiene tip for episode number 1. Wash your back, people. Now, in my head, that sounds like what the fuck are you talking about, Collin? Wash your back? Of course you wash your back, but you'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you're a non-back washer. I don't know. I was personally surprised at how many people I've talked to who don't wash their back. Like, they just don't. They think that you don't have to do that, which I don't understand. Like, there's no part of your body, skin outside of your insides of your body that you don't need to wash. You need to wash all of your body. And I know more than one or two people who just don't do it and they don't believe in it. They don't think you have to. And I mean, if I don't wash my back well, it itches. So I don't understand that. And I know that if you don't wash your back, you get back pimples. I mean, some people get back pimples anyway, but you really get back pimples if you don't wash your back. And I know that any part of your body that you don't wash regularly will have a smell to it. So who's walking around with a stink back? Well, actually, I know a couple people. I never smelled their backs, but I imagine that I know if I don't wash the fucking in between my fingers, there's going to be a fucking odor there, and it's going to be unpleasant. And holy shit. Yeah, so wash your back. And on that subject, I'm a big proponent of back brushes. I always have one. And I'm not a fan of the ones. There's two different kinds that I fucking hate. One of them is the one that's like smooth plastic. That was the last one that I got. Whenever you're in the shower and you have like sudsy hands or wet hands, you can't hold on to the damn thing. It just slides out of your, you can't get a good grip on it. That pissed me off. The other kind that sucks is the kind that's like it's made so the handle and the head of it come apart. So I guess, so you can use the handle or the head of it for like a scrub brush. You can take it off, but they always come like that system that they use where you just kind of jam the stick back into the head of the thing, the brush bristle part. You're supposed to just jam it in there and then it'll stay. It does not stay. Every time I use one of them fucking things, the head comes off, hits the floor. I'm constantly putting it back on. I'm going to start fucking super gluing them shits because I don't use the hand brush. You can just use the whole, if you need to scrub between your taint, you can still use it with the stick on. You don't need to take the stick off to get behind your knees. The stick, you can do anywhere with the stick that you can. Whatever. I'm gonna invent a better back brush. Actually, I bought one. Oh, what the fuck is that thing called? But I don't like it. It's like a it looks like it's like it kind of looks like a, what does it look like? Basically, it's like a giant sponge with handles on the ends of it. It's long. It's maybe 2 feet long. It's like fabric with a handle on each end and like a sponge in the middle. And you're supposed to use it and you wrap it around your back and just, like seesaw it back and forth and use it to scrub all around the back of your neck and everywhere. Looks good in theory. When I tested it, it's not that great. A couple problems with it. Number one was the fact that the spongy part of it looks like it's made out of like shredded bamboo or something. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't like gouge you out or nothing, but it's just too stiff. Like you have to really run hot water on it just to soften it up enough to make it flexible. So it's just too much. And secondly, you can dump a whole bottle of body wash in that thing. Like when you pour the fucking body wash into the bristles of the sponge part, it just goes in and it's gone and there's no suds. Like you have to literally, I guess you'd have to just like lather your whole body up first and then just use that, because you can't pour the soap onto the sponge part. It just sucks it all in, a whole bottle. No bullshit. So they tried, but that thing, I'm gonna throw it away. It's bullshit. But I'd like to see the attempt. So maybe that's what I'll do to get rich. I'll invent a better back brush. If any of you know of a better back brush, please let me know. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with that. I'm gonna just go ahead and leave the email for the show the same one for the book. It's Get Some Publishing, one word, GETSOME publishing @gmail.com. Comments, questions, suggestions. Happy to have you. Happy to have it all of it. Anyway, so hygiene tip for the day: wash your back, buy a back brush, make sure you get it all. Don't stink, people. All right, where are we at time-wise here? I haven't gotten into any of the real big subjects that I want to, but that's okay. This is just episode 1. It's basically a test to see if I can do this shit. Okay. Let's talk about Let's talk about 4K. Since I talked about Xbox. So the Xbox One S comes with a 4K player built in, a 4K Blu-ray player. If you have never seen a 4K Blu-ray on a 4K Blu-ray television, more specifically 4K Blu-ray with HDR. If you're not familiar with these terms that I'm throwing out here, HDR, 4K Blu-ray, I don't know, you might be old. I don't think I'm going to have any old people listening to this, but just I don't know, get on your technology. So, but I'll give a quick breakdown. 4K is supposed to be 4 times the resolution, I believe, of your standard high definition, which is 1080 or whatever. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. The image quality on your television with a 4K movie or video game is astounding. It's wonderful. It's great. If you add HDR technology to that, which is the not the top thing, OLED I believe is the top thing, but there's like all these new things that just make it a little bit more better, a little bit more, push it even further. How far can we go? Right now I believe OLED TVs with 4K and HDR, those three things is like as good of a TV as you can really utilize right now. I know there's like 8K TVs, I think, but nothing's filmed in 8K, so it's useless. But right now, if you get an OLED TV, which is organic light emitting diode, but you don't need to know that, just OLED, an OLED, but you don't even need that. I just bought a Samsung 4K HDR television, and I'm telling you, the resolution on it, even the sound, it's a dope ass TV, and it was less than $1,000 too. But the resolution on 4K with HDR, which is high dynamic range, which just means more colors. Like instead of 50 colors, you get 50,000 colors. I watched the movie that Mel Gibson one, in Japan, what the hell is it called? Hacksaw Ridge. It's a so-so movie. It's just okay, but the fight scenes are the only other movie I've seen with better war action was like with like head bodies exploding and shit like that was the newest Rambo, which isn't high HDR or anything. I'm just talking about just the movie itself, like that. The newest Rambo with Sylvester Stallone, the newest version of Rambo that he made was the bloodiest, craziest movie I've ever seen. Like they literally were like setting kids on fire and bayoneting them in like the face, and like just heads lopped off and bodies exploding everywhere. That was the most gruesome shit I've ever seen in a war movie. This new Hacksaw Ridge one has pretty close to that levels of gore as far as fighting and shit, but it's filmed in high definition 4K HDR, and the resolution is so good that it's distracting. I had to watch the movie several times to enjoy the movie itself, because the whole time that I was watching it, I was just like, holy shit, holy fuck, did you see that fire? Damn, look at that. And rewinding it, and like, damn, his head exploded. Fuck, you think you're getting painted yourself with blood when it sprays. It looks more high definition than real life, I'm telling you. And then it gets better than that. You go to OLED and then like add VR to it. Yeah, we're in a it's a really exciting time for movies and shit. But anyway, so 4K is the shit. Shout out to a podcast, or not a podcast, a YouTube channel, dude named Brass Tacks, BRASSTAX. Brass Tacks. I believe he's from the UK. I started, I don't know, his shit just popped up on my feed, and I started watching, and then right as I got my 4K TV, he was the one that I found doing all the 4K DVD, or excuse me, 4K Blu-ray reviews. He talks about the resolution, and how good they look if the movie it talks about the movie themselves and all that shit. And I enjoy his shit. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, he reviews video games and shit too. Brass Tacks, BRASSTAX, and he's different. He talks different, and it's refreshing. There's a lot of content out there, and his is refreshing. Anyway, I like his show. But so I went to him, and I actually sent him a message and asked him if he was feeling the same thing, like if the 4K was distracting to him. And he said, yeah, definitely, but you get used to it. And I did finally. But now that I've gotten used to it, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't even want to rent movies from the Redbox anymore because they don't have 4K. Like I stopped buying DVDs years ago because you can rent them from the Redbox for $1 or whatever. Now I'm starting to buy them again just because I want to see everything in 4K. It's that awesome. 4K is the shit, especially with HDR. So on that subject, I just bought the 4K Blu-ray of the movie Passengers with fucking Jurassic Park, The Office, what the fuck is his name? Guardians of the Galaxy, Brad. I don't know, but Jennifer Lawrence is in it, and Lawrence Fishburne is in it, and the movie itself. I'm talking about Passengers. Okay, it's an outer space movie. I love outer space movies. I love spaceships, shit like that. I knew going in that the movie wasn't great because I actually saw the review of it from that dude Brass Tacks on his YouTube channel. I bought it anyway because, like I said, I just want to demo my TV all the time. I just want to just be sucked into this 4K experience and just love it for whatever it is. And I bought it, and it didn't disappoint in the resolution, the graphics category, but the movie itself was so Disney. Like, it was just so vanilla. I don't know. What the fuck is that dude's name? Brad? Oh, damn. Sean? I don't know. Whatever. But the movie, it was too clean. And what I mean by that was, if you haven't seen it, spoiler warning. This isn't a movie review, but I just want to say this about the movie. It was very well written. It was too well written. It was a story about serendipity, and it was too perfect. Like the dude, whatever, Jurassic Park dude, Jurassic World, whatever. He's on a spaceship flying to another planet from Earth, and it's a long journey, like 100 and something years, and he's in cryo sleep or whatever, and he accidentally is awakened from his sleeping pod, and he just happened, and the ship, something happens and the ship breaks. His pod just happens to open, wake him up, and he just happens to be a mechanic who can fix shit, but he can't fix it by himself. So he just happens, like, I don't know, everything just works out so perfect. And then he wakes up this other, that's a big spoiler. Sorry. I said spoilers, but he wakes up Jennifer Lawrence. He thought he was just going crazy by being by himself. He decides to wake her up. It turns out he needed to wake her up because he needed someone else to do it. And then Lawrence Fishburne is like the captain of the whole fucking ship. He just happens to wake up, and then he dies, but he happened to wake up just in time to tell them, oh, you need to do this, and then he dies. It was just too perfect. It was Disney. It was too clean. Like, I really thought about this, and what should have happened was, or what really would have happened, like if this movie was an actual thing, what would have happened was the ship would have got fucked up and broke. That dude, some other moron would have woke up and been like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand what's happening. And then probably either just started murdering people by accident by trying to wake up other people the wrong way. Like, because this mechanic dude, the Jurassic World dude, was a mechanic, so he was able to figure out how to wake up Jennifer Lawrence. If anybody else would have probably tried to pry those things open, they'd have probably killed the people who they were trying to wake up, And then the whole thing would have just been a disaster. Like that's what the story was, too clean and too perfect. Like they needed to have like, I don't know, somebody needed to lose an arm. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like in reality, everybody on that ship would have died. That's what I'm trying to say. Like there's no way that shit would have ever happened as perfectly. And on top of that, all right, this is super spoilers. The whole premise of the movie, not the whole premise of the movie, but one of the main themes in the movie is that these fucking hyperpods they don't break ever. They've never broken. So when people are in, they don't have to worry about that. They put people to sleep, and that's something they don't have to worry about. So and this ship is supposed to be so fucking gnarly and awesome that it doesn't break. And totally, like when the shit starts breaking in it, you can see it. They show the diagnostics and it says repairing, and it fixes itself. But then something else happened that it couldn't repair itself. You're automatically going to have a failsafe for that. Like no matter what, they're not going to make it so no matter what, the crew can't be awoken. Like as soon as anything like that happens, somebody from the crew is going to be fucking woken up automatically. Like I don't give a fuck how advanced this ship is. No matter what, you have a backup plan. And they acted like in this movie like that. Well, no, these things don't break. There's no way. No. And then on top of that, they said that once somebody is awoken from their cryo sleep, there was no way to put them back into sleep on the ship. Once again, I don't believe that. Like that doesn't make any sense. Not that I don't believe it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you know that there can always be a situation where you need to wake someone up from the crew to fix something. And then being that it's over 100-year journey, you're going to need to be able to put them back to sleep. Period. Moving on. What else did I want to say about that? Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know what it is about her, but well, for one thing, she can wear the fuck out of a dress. That is a sexy ass broad. But something about her face just says yes. Like she's just straight up wife material. I would marry the shit out of her. Anyway, but yeah, she rocks every dress that she puts on. She really owns the shit out of it. And I appreciate it. And she's a great actress too. But that makes me think that she's probably psycho. I think anyone who can bring up emotions in their face like she does in everything that she's in, like these actors, I think you're a person who is emotional as fuck all the time, so you can just bring that up. Which means that you're fucking nuts. What else did I want to say about Jennifer Lawrence? Fucking beautiful eyes. She's just attractive. All the moles, her long neck, she's super gorgeous. I like her voice too. Yeah, she played crazy a little too fucking well in that other one with that other dude and Robert De Niro. What the fuck was that one? The other dude from Limitless. The one that he was in and she was in, and they were both crazy people. She played crazy a little too good. That's what I'm trying to say. If these actors and actresses are just all whatever, just all actors. The ones who can really pull up emotion like that are, I bet you they're a little bit nuts in real life. Anyway, about Jennifer Lawrence also, I want to say that the way that she was beating the shit out of that Jurassic World dude, she was throwing punches like, those were not like girly punches. I bet you she can fight in real life. Sorry, I'm going to end this here in a second because I'm losing my throat with this fucking cold. Anything else I want to say about that movie? So 4K is the shit. Passengers is worth watching in 4K just because the spaceship is beautiful. Everything that you see in that movie, including Jennifer Lawrence, is just beautiful. The ship is awesome. The scene whenever there's no gravity, she's swimming in a pool and the gravity goes out. That's some shit that I never thought of. I mean, the movie really had a lot to like about it, but the story was just too vanilla. I'm telling you, like it was interesting, but I guess in the end it was just a love story, and I wanted it to be more of a space story. But it's worth watching. People and crew, everyone. I'm just reading my notes here to see if there's anything else I want to say about that. Hacksaw Ridge was the Mel Gibson movie. Another thing. Okay, so also with 4K Blu-ray, when you buy those, You so get your money's worth out of it. You buy a 4K Blu-ray disc, and the two that I bought, Hacksaw Ridge and Passengers, have both come with 3 discs inside and a digital download. So if you want to download it, like if you have a subscription to Vudu or whatever, like the digital download service, so you can watch shit like on your phones and your computers and shit, tablets or whatever, I guess, you get that with it. So it's $25 for the disc for the 4K package. You open it, you get that digital download, so you can have it on your computer, tablet, iPad, or whatever. Then you get some of them. I think Passengers has a 3D Blu-ray disc. It has a 4K HDR Blu-ray disc. It has a regular Blu-ray disc. So you're getting 4 copies and 4 different formats of the movie for $25. That is an excellent deal. Like I'm really excited about where this shit's going. 4K is the shit. If you don't have a 4K TV, go get one. You can get them pretty cheap now, and even an entry level one like I got is it blows me away every time I sit down and look at it. I'm gonna listen. This is another thing about that dude Brass Tacks. He even said he bought BBC's Planet Earth 2, I believe it's called, which is just a nature documentary, 4K Blu-ray, and he bought it. He ain't in animals all like that, and neither am I, like animal shows. I was when I was a kid, but not so much anymore. But he said he bought it just because it's filmed to show off in 4K HDR. So he said when you put that shit in, it just blows your head off. It looks so fucking amazing. I'm gonna buy it too. I could give a fuck about another Animal Planet style show, but I'm gonna buy it just because I know that I can put that on when people come over and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Because the shit just jumps off the screen in 4K. It's insane. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. We'll see what the time is. We are at 1 hour and 18 minutes and 30 seconds. I think I'm going to cut it there. Do I want to talk about... I'll leave this one for next time. All right. I think I did everything pretty much I wanted to talk about except for that. I'm going to save the... I'll go ahead and say it. Public toilets. I got a lot to say about that. And, of course, tipping. But like I said, I got to sit down and really lay out this thing about tipping because I got some shit to say about tipping. And about 680 other fucking things that we do in this country and in the world today that just bug the shit out of me. But I appreciate anybody who's listening to this, if anybody's listening to this. I hope it sounds good. I hope the intro and outro music, I'm going to try to change that every episode. I got my Blue Yeti microphone here on a stand with the shit and all that. Hopefully, definitely my next episode, my voice should be better. I'm going to wait a couple days. Damn it. And let myself heal up, drink some tea, honey, or whatever fuck. I don't know. Singers do shit for the voice. And I'm going to come back stronger and better, and I'm gonna have a good game plan for episode 2. But like I said, this one is more of a test than anything. I hope I've said some interesting shit, enough to get you to come back. Make sure that you go and buy the book if you haven't already. You should have been doing that while you're listening. It's called These Ones Are Mine. It's on Amazon and Kindle. It's paperback or Kindle format or whatever, ebook. It's a labor of love, and you're gonna like it, I promise. Be good. Take care of yourself. Always try to help other people. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, tell a friend, buy the book. Catch you next time.